Do you reckon the leaky cauldron would do a pub lunch? First thing you look at a hedgehog, you don't necessarily think, oh yeah, Harry Potter.
I broke my wand 3 times whilst we were filming the 5th movie.
I think this is just going to be pixelated on the edit, isn't it?
What are you doing, by the way?
I am going to be making just a standard cake, but with toppings of different Harry Potter elements. Things that people associate with the Wizarding World.
Such as?
Such as, well, you've got the Deathly Hallows logo. You're going to have Harry's glasses.
Yes. Whilst doing Harry Potter Wizards of Baking, we were told very many times what inspired them for flavours. I've always wanted to know what a nice Hogwarts meal would taste like, because when we were filming, it wasn't as nice as everybody thinks in that Great Hall. The smell of Brussels sprouts will haunt me for the rest of my life in that Great Hall. So I would love a proper meal from the Great Hall.
Do you reckon the leaky cauldron would do a pub lunch? Like a proper
pub lunch.
pub lunch, you reckon?
Proper ploughmans in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'd like to sit and do that. See, I think it depends what it is. Like with my kids, if I'm making something with them, yeah, you want it to taste nice, but at the end of the day, you want them to have a good time making it. Like we make cakes together, we'll do plant stuff in the garden, we'll create stuff together and things like that. So you want them to enjoy it.
And that's the difference between you and I. I'd much rather it be perfect and not have a good time. I'm going to go for the inspiration of one of the bakes in the show. Elizabeth and Juan did one of their Patronus, which was a horse. Now, I always thought that my own Patronus would be a hedgehog, so I'm making a hedgehog Patronus.
Oh, okay. Interesting. That's what all these are?
Yeah, this is
so
little
how many
spikes.
of these little spikes are you going to be making?
A few. It's only a small Patronus though.
I can tell, yeah.
I feel like I should add hedgehog onto something more Harry Potter related.
First thing you look at a hedgehog, you don't necessarily think, oh yeah, that Harry Potter.
I have always wanted to go back and learn the classic Spanish guitar. I used to drive my family nuts with my practicing, if you remember.
Yes.
And then, like all good things as a child, you think, actually, I'm going to do something else. And I still remember to this day my granddad saying, do not stop playing the instrument. And I regret that to this day. So if you're ever learning an instrument, never give it up. There's so many occasions when I wish that I could have just gone back and just picked up where I was, but not to be. Top that.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to do many cool things over the years. Like I actually learned how to cross stitch while filming on the 4th movie. You wait around a lot, you got to sit around, so I learned how to cross stitch. That was good fun.
Rock and roll.
Up to that too. My nan always used to, my nanny Bet, she always used to try and get me to learn how to knit.
You would love to do more cross stitching, is that what you're saying?
Knitting. Well, Fred and George are full of colour. They're full of pizzazz. It would be something very big and extravagant. Almost probably a cake of like a big firework going off, maybe with a massive W with a star on it, and the star would be probably like one of those candles maybe when you light it and it just keeps sparkling and doesn't blow out.
Catherine will.
Well, no, I think a Catherine wheel on a cake could be a bad idea for everyone involved.
That would look great.
Right, my base is not working here at all. It's looking...
Here's an idea.
Okay.
I would do a biscuit base.
Oh, okay. What biscuit are you
box.
using?
Biscuit.
Okay.
Box. So it looks like a Skyrim snap box.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And inside there'd be individual sweets made to be like the Skyrim snap boxes. All edible bake.
What would the individual sweets be though?
Well, you've got the nosebleed nougat.
Yeah.
So you could eat that and then I'd punch you in the nose and then you could have a nosebleed.
Yeah, okay. All right.
See? So it works as well.
What about the puking pestles? So I'm currently building the Deathly Hallows logo, hoping that I've got enough plasticine to make it work.
This is probably the first time I've used plasticine in about 30 years.
I actually did a day's trip with the guys from Aardman Animation, which was very cool. But they are hopefully not watching this right now because I don't think I'm going to be becoming a model at any time soon. So my bake is looking like something I would find at my daughter's nursery, I think, just left on the floor. So I'm trying to make it look a bit more elaborate here. Boom. There we go.
It's going to sound very corny. The most magical thing that I think happened throughout the whole shoot was everybody got on. The whole crew in general, we all just had a great time because we were filming night shoots. Because the studio tour is so popular, we could only get in there to shoot on the sets at night. Not once did I hear anybody complain about the hours, the time of day, anything like that. Everybody just really had a great time, and I think it comes over in the show as well. What about you?
I thought,
Apart from working with me, obviously.
apart from working with you, yes. I'd say one of the most magical parts of it was actually standing in the Great Hall on the final, when we were just seeing all these Potter fans who were actually invited down to see the bakes coming in, and you could see them standing there with the cameras on filming, and you could almost see them realising what it was like to be on a Harry Potter movie.
Yeah. On Diagon Alley as well, when we were filming there, I remember we got to go back to Weasley Wizard Wheezes, which is the best set in the entire series.
Yep.
It was pretty cool to be able to go back in our shop, see what's what.
See what's what, make sure they're still keeping up the good sales.
Looked like it.
Yeah, someone was doing their job properly. Well, going back to the fourth movie, I was doing some cross-stitching while waiting in my trailer. And
We are related, I promise.
well, no, you got to do something, can't do anything else. So I was making this thing for my grandmother.
You could do anything.
I was making a cross-stitch for my nan for Christmas. So we had these new suits made up for our characters. I was sat in my trailer, watching the TV, doing this cross-stitch, and this wheel was on my lap as I'm doing it. And they called us to set, and I stood up, and I unfortunately had sewn my cross-stitch into my trouser leg without realising it. This piece that I'd been working weeks to do now had to be cut up because I couldn't go and film on the final day just before Christmas. Beat that.
Where I broke my wand 3 times whilst we were filming the 5th movie. So we're in the room of requirement. In between takes, I kept trying to do that like a drummer does with his drumstick. And it fell one time and broke. So I had to go back to the prop guy, Gary, I'm like, really sorry, I broke the wand. And he was a bit, I wish you didn't have done that, but it's okay, we've got a spare one. Gave me the spare one, and I broke that as well. He was a bit cross with me at this point and said, don't do it again, so I won't, I'm done now. So a couple of days later, we were filming in the same set, and I dropped the wand on the floor again, and it didn't break, luckily, it was all good, until Rupert Grint saw what was happening and decided to tread on the wand and broke it. So there is actually a scene in that movie where the wand is literally in my fingertips, because I kept the rest of it in my pocket because I didn't want to show the prop guy that I'd broken it, so it's literally fingertip wand in that scene.
But how long were you out of wand for then?
Quite a while. I was on the wand blacklist.
They're serious.
Maybe that's why I wasn't allowed to have my wand at the end of the shoot.
I think Fred would have done better if he had his wand.
Probably, yeah. I was never, ever unimpressed by Elizabeth and Juan's realism. In the first episode, they start with a Patronus, and it looks absolutely epic. And another show, they produced Fawkes the Phoenix. It literally looks like a prop.
The other thing as well, when we were obviously doing the show, is you just see how people just take things in their stride. Like, oh no, this bake hasn't worked, I'll do another one.
Yep.
That seemed to come across from quite a few of the guys, like Litter and Mitzi. They were always coming out with some good stuff with like using Mitzi's molecular gastronomy.
You were just saying next you learned how to say the word.
I did, can you say it yet?
Nope. Molecular gastronomy. There you go, molecular no.
Right, this does not look like a wand, does it? Well, how are you getting on?
I'm all right. I've ditched the hedgehog idea. You know how a Quidditch field?
Yes.
I'm sure there's a hedgehog in there.
Right.
So I'm drawing inspiration from a hedgehog, which is now not in it. But I'm inspired by Quidditch. So I've done a snitch.
Oh, okay.
It flies as well.
Sure it's not an owl?
Nope, definitely a snitch.
I'd just put a beak on that and call it an owl. There you go.
Or an owl. Yeah. No, it's a snitch.
Right, so I have finished my masterpiece. So,
I mean, mine's bad, but
allow me to explain. If you can you look?
Yeah, sorry.
We've got the Deathly Hallows right here. We have Harry Potter's glasses. I was going to draw a lightning bolt, but I couldn't actually do it. And then we've got a wand. This is how they actually looked in the film.
It actually looks like a bit of plasticine that you haven't actually cut or done anything with.
Look at this. There we go.
Would you eat that?
I would, if it wasn't like that. There we go.
So, Quidditch theme. I've got a little beater. That's my beater.
I think this is just going to be pixelated on the edit, isn't it?
I did a snitch. I think Universal, you could say that was a snitch. Everyone knows what a snitch is. That looks. It's even got the 150 in the middle,
right?
And the little decorations.
And what's this thing here?
This is a lasso. They throw the to get the points through.
Oh,
yeah. So yeah, something Quidditch related.
Hang on. So you're criticising me for making this absolute masterpiece, and you've got that to hand.
And a bludger.
Get that thing away from my face. Well, instead of bakes like this, do you know where people can see much better bakes?
I do.
On Prime Video now, Harry Potter, The Wizards of Baking.